had the option to ask questions live or submit them ahead of the event, we will begin with a few pre-submitted questions. First question comes from the Spike GG for Redgar. How did your team react to Crew's win against Fnatic yesterday?
We were ready to both situations where the Fnatic is winning and the Crew. We know that they can beat them, so we are well prepared for them. And it doesn't matter who we're gonna face. For us, it was nothing because we are ready for both of them.
Thank you. Next question goes to Gambit Nats from Alerta Geek. Considering that only one of 7 teams between North Americans and Brazilians made it to playoffs, do you think that minor regions like Latin America deserve more spots in the upcoming tournaments, especially now with the performance of Crew?
I guess right now it's a good system that every region has a spot, and right now it's enough for everyone. So everybody, the best teams is showing the best performance on the tournament, and right now the system is good, and I think they don't have to change anything, and spots is good.
Thank you. Next question comes from Run It Back to anyone on Gambit. It is safe to say Crew being your opponent here was unexpected, but they clearly put in the work. What are some things you may have seen from them that are impressive, and on the other hand, some things you feel you can take advantage of?
I will answer. I guess that they're playing really aggressive. They're playing not aggressive like we play versus X10 because they're playing too much aggressive, but Crew has a lot of combinations with their strategies and they're playing more together. So I guess they will be hard opponents because if they continue doing aggressive moves, if they're losing and they will continue using their aggressive strategy, they will be really serious opponents. So that was the main problem before, and now they fixed it. So it's gonna be interesting match.
Thank you. We will now open the floor for questions. Please use the Zoom hand raise feature if you would like to ask a question, and we will call on you when it is your turn. Please address your question to a player or players. First question from Alan.
Hi, Nats. So this is a question for Nats, and so you got a lot of fame during Master Berlin and a lot of attention, a lot of praise, but also a lot of pros will study your awards, especially the Crew or Liquid or Sun. So what do you think? Have you faced any other more stress, more nerves, or this kind of obstacles because you get a very good result in Master Berlin? Thank you.
Можно перевод? Can you repeat questions, please?
Okay. I will rephrase it. So you guys win with the Master Berlin, and you get a very good result, and your performance is really outstanding. So it means you get a lot of attention. You get a lot of attention now. So during this process, because we have some time period between Master Berlin and now, so a lot of teams are starting you and your team, especially you. So do you think that kind of study, whatever it's VOS, it's tag or whatever, do you think it makes you play more difficult during group stage or during playoffs?
Yeah, now I understand the question. Yeah, every team is trying to prepare for us, for the team, and they're creating some interesting things against me because on Masters Berlin, I guess I was showing a good performance, and some teams, if you're going to talk about group stage, they was trying to destroy my game style, and because of that, yeah, it's very difficult to do the same thing like I was doing before in Masters Berlin, and because of that, I have to change my game style to do some other things because right now everybody is ready for my default play style, and that's the main thing, I guess.
Thank you. Next question from One Tap Valorant.
Hi guys, Redgar, my question's to you. You mentioned on Twitter that you ran into Crew Esports in the practice room and had a great interaction. How important is such friendly environment in the Valorant pro scene?
I hope that in the future it will be like that kind of environment, like all the teams have these things, because we're here like a professional players and we should admire everybody, and we, in my opinion, should be like friendly out of the cameras and the other things. And it's good when you are friendly and you can open your mind to another teams. So yeah, I hope that in the future that will be like that kind of a community.
Thank you.
Thank you. Next question from the click.
Hey Gambit, congratulations on making it to the semifinals. My question goes out to anyone who would like to answer. What do you think of the current meta that teams have played thus far compared to from Masters Berlin, in which you guys took the trophy? How big of a difference has it been since back then?
Я сейчас даже реально тоже не знаю, что ответить тут.
Разница между прошлым Берлином.
Не, я понял вопрос. Я говорю, что я не знаю, что ответить тут даже.
Скажи, нет разницы.
I think there is no matter for us how we want to win. Like if you're comparing Masters Free Berlin or Champions, we still have the same goal. We want to win that. It's no matter what tournament it is.
Thank you. Next question from Esports GG.
Hello, guys. So this one's addressed towards the entire team. What are your thoughts on Kezint's performance, and has there been any discussion on how to limit him for the upcoming game?
Что скажете? Перформанс Казина. Который на Рейне.
Я знаю, я просто хочу сейчас жестко сказать, но не буду лучше.
Скажи, какая разница.
We will see his performance versus us.
Okay, thank you. Next question from Run It Back.
Hi, the question is for Defo. We see you now with the most first kills out of anyone left in the tournament, and along with that is the second most first deaths aside from Nagzit on crew. So what are some things from the semifinals and possibly the grand finals that you're going to do to ensure you keep up that first kill rate and maybe lower the first deaths and make that impact in the server?
У тебя на турнире первый показатель по энтри-фрагам и второй показатель по смертям. Только один игрок умер меньше. Как ты будешь играть, чтобы эти показатели остались на том же уровне или стали даже лучше?
Я ничего не буду менять, буду играть, как играл, и, чтобы это выйти.
I will keep the same game style, and I think that everything is going to be good. That's it. That's the answer.
Thank you. Next question from Valorant Spa.
Hello, everyone. This question goes for Nats. On a previous press conference, I asked you about the upcoming Sentinel that was coming to the game. You mentioned in that occasion that you didn't think it was necessary for the game. What are your thoughts now related to Chamber now that he's out and he is playable?
So if Riot's gonna add some other Sentinel, it's gonna be better for me, 100%. So I can play whatever I want. But if you're gonna talk about the competitive style, I'm gonna say that it's anyway a lot of Sentinels right now. If we're gonna talk about the Killjoy Cypher, we're gonna talk about the Viper as well. He's gonna be a Sentinel. So in my opinion, right now they don't have to add any other Sentinels. Yeah, Chamber is going to be like a Sentinel as well, but I think the game style of that agent is going to be a bit different than the others. I'm going to say that for me, I want to see one more Sentinel, but I guess it's enough right now. Maybe they have to do any other roles and add any other agents.
Thank you. Next question from Alan.
Hi, and this is a question for everyone. So in the before conference, just before, Liquid told something about scrims. So Scream said that during their scrims with every team in during champions, Crew is one of the best opponents. Actually, he said Crew is the strongest opponent they have faced in scrims. So, what do you think of this this talking, and or which team do you think that is the strongest opponents during your scrims? Thank you.
I want to say maybe for Liquid it was the strongest opponents, but we played versus Crew. They're really good, but in my opinion, not the strongest one. And the screen doesn't show that you're really good on the land performance too. So you don't have to think that you're better if you win someone on scrims. It shows like literally a few times. But in my opinion, you should be like, the strongest team is the team that won the tournament. That's the simple rule.
Thank you.
Thank you. Next question from The Click.
Should you guys defeat Crew, you will take on the winner of Ascend Team Liquid. And so, what are your thoughts? This question goes out to Redgar. What are your thoughts on facing either of those two teams, and who would you like to face in the finals?
We faced like Liquid and Ascend literally like a lot of times, and we know each other really good. So they're prepared for us, and we're prepared for them. For me, it doesn't matter really, because if we're gonna face Ascend, I want to rematch them for that bind. If we face the Liquid, I want to show that we're much better right now when we played versus them on qualifications on Master Balance 3. So that's the only points.
Thank you. Next question from Upcomer.
Hey guys, question for anyone. You guys have a pretty unique comp on Fracture compared to what other teams are running on the map. How did you put together that comp?
Так сказали мне, так я же отвечал.
На Бриме почему-то.
You want to know why I'm playing on Brim or what?
Why you're playing Brim? Why nobody's playing Viper? Just what makes you think this comp is so strong for you guys?
I don't know. There's a team decision. Like we just talk about it and thought that this pick is pretty good for us, and we started to practice more on that. But if you want to know, we tested so much picks on that map, and that's it.
Thank you.
Thank you. Are there any other questions in the room? Yes, Upcomer.
You guys obviously won Masters 3 Berlin, and now you have a chance to win Champions. I think most people would agree that if you win Champions, this is kind of the first year of competitive Valorant belongs to Gambit. What would it mean to you guys to kind of be the best team in the first ever year of competitive Valorant?
I guess it will be like the honor for us if we win the tournament, because first of all, it's the first tournament of this game, like this one, this big tournament. And the second one, we worked really hard through all this year, and we'll prove everyone and ourselves too that if you're working hard, it pays off. So yeah, it will be awesome.
Thank you.
Thank you. Next question from The Click.
This question goes out to anyone who would like to answer. Recently, in the past few hours, Riot announced a change that will be instituted on Yoru, one of the agents that has rarely been used thus far in the two international events. I believe it was only picked once in Masters Berlin, and hasn't been picked at all thus far in Champions. And so, what are your thoughts on the upcoming changes to Yoru?
I think that it's the right direction to change the agents that are not using that well in the matchmaking in game and on the professional scene too. So yeah, if they gonna use a lot of agents, and they they will remake the agents that not are using that much, it will be much better, because they will change the meta, they can change the old things, and it's good that the game is always evolving, not like on the we have that agent, nobody is playing it, so just forget about them. No, they're changing it, and it's really good in my opinion.
Thank you. Next question from Run It Back.
Hi, this question's for whoever wants to answer it. We've seen a handful of people, such as Mixwell from G2, kind of come out and say, obviously probably in a trolling way, though, that it is harder to win some of the EMEA events like the qualifiers than it might be to win champions with all of these other regions. What do you think of the state of EMEA going forward and how these other regions might face up in the future when it comes to, the strength from the region you guys come from?
Они не хотят. Что там про регионы?
Да, как будет в следующем году, как EMEA, типа... Никс изначально, помнишь, когда потроллил в Твиттере?
Но он сказал, что выиграть отборы на EMEA сложнее, чем
So about the EMEA region, yes, as we can see, the champions right now, EMEA is 3 teams from EMEA is semifinals. Every EMEA team is showing great performance on the tournaments. But as we can see, and if we're gonna compare the Masters Berlin and champions, we can see that other regions, other teams, the all international Valorant is growing up. So I guess next season, next tournament is going to be much harder, and you may have to work more harder than the all region working right now, because like I said before, as we can see to the X10 and any other opponents, Crew, all of them just playing really good, and they can easily win the tournaments. So they just need more experience, and they will be the best teams.
Thank you. Next question from The Click.
Yes, this question goes out to Chronicle. We previously discussed about the potential of EMEA being split into 3 separate regions, thus being EU, CIS, and Turkey, and whether you wanted it to happen, and you said no, since by staying together, it gives teams within each region of EMEA, EU, CIS, Turkey the opportunity to play against each other. And so I'd like to know if you still believe that EMEA should remain together, or should it be somewhat split up for the future?
I think Riot should not separate our EMEA region to 3 different regions, because it's really good for more minor regions like CIS or Turkey, because we're growing up like with Europe, and we can see that on the Masters 2 qualifiers, the minor regions, if you compare it to Europe, was not really that good to qualify to Reykjavik. On Masters 3 Berlin, we already have four EMEA teams, and 2 of them was Turkey and CIS. And I only can say that EMEA should not be separated, because because if we really split the regions, I think CIS region will be dead.
Thank you. Are there any other questions in the room? Okay, that concludes our scrum for today. Thank you very much, Gambit, for joining us, and thank you everyone as well. Please stand by for the next press conference, which will begin shortly. Gambit, please stand up for a few group photos.